Hello, hello, and welcome to the Plays the Thing. My name's Matt, and today in this live stream, we are going to play through the first scenario of Tales from the Red Dragon Inn, which is a dungeon crawler, and it's one of my favorites. I played there, I think there are like 25 scenarios to play through, and it's a whole story. But so I played through about 11, and this is the first one. So actually, I've had to go back because the game develops and you get more cards to do more actions and more weapons and blah 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 blah, more actions. So we're going back to the first scenario. I'm playing solo, but I'm playing two characters, and I will show you the setup. So the great thing about Tales from the Dragon, one of the great things about Tales from the Red Dragon Inn, is that you have these maps which are paper, and they have two, one on each side. And so they just have a book of maps that you get out for each level. And one of the great things about that is that that's a card, but it has all the enemies on it already and how to play the round, which can change slightly as you go through the levels. And so that means that everyone can be different. Even the round structure can change slightly, although obviously it is basically the same. So today I have picked Fiona, who is kind of a bit of an all-rounder. She has good attack and defense. And then I have also picked Gog, who is a big brute. Oh, actually, they're not in the right places. Let me just sort that out. Yeah, who's a big brute, and this is Gog here. He's got a bit of a bendy axe, but he just goes around smashing things. And so let me show you Fiona as well. And this is Fiona. But there are like 4 other characters that you can play with, and you can also play true solo in this. But I thought that I would just show you how it plays. So if you want to play, with your friend or your partner, you can do that as well. So basically, I will go through it as we play, but what has happened in this first chapter is that, without reading all this stuff, the group of adventurers are in the Red Dragon Inn, and I think the owner or the barman says, "Oh, we've built this room to attract people in the basement, and it's the danger room." And then the danger room, there's a big crash and rhythmic sounds starts happening, and it says something in the basement falls over, crushes, and explodes. Amidst the din, you hear the unmistakable sound of unseen constructs whirring to life. Whizgill looks down at the floor. According to my calculations, about 10 seconds ago, Pookie's already across the room and down the cellars. Make sure whatever's down there doesn't come up here. We'll try to get the rest of them sober, or at least awake. We'll be right behind you. So they have built combat constructs, wingerlingers and spin blades and stuff, so that novice adventurers can face off against them and hone their fighting skills. So we have, every scenario has a setup and instructions about things that are different. So we have the enemies here, and I've put them out, and then it tells you for 1 or 2 players which enemies to put where. So basically, on B and D in the first room is a Gizmoblin and 2 traps. So as you can see, I've put them here are the 2 Gizmoblins, and 2 traps, which will cause us 2 damage, cause anyone 2 damage if they step on them or are pushed onto them, but not if they leap over them, which is important. So that's it. So I'll start playing, and then when we get to how things work, I will explain to you. We get certain tokens. So if you see on Fiona's, one of Fiona's actions, she has a shield under her action. I don't wear all this armor just for defense. And that means that she gets a shield token. And she also gets a shield token from her pot lid, which is basically a shield. And for example, shield tokens discard a token to reduce damage from an enemy source by 2. So they will help us, but then they go away. So how we determine who goes first, we have tokens in here, and I will show you the tokens as well. So for a 2-player game, Fiona and Gog have a gold and a red token, and whoever is activated enemy-wise also has a token in there. So yeah, so there's a blue token, Gog has red and gold, and Fiona has red and gold. Gold tokens, you can do 2 actions and 1 shenanigan. I'll explain shenanigans. And gold tokens, and red tokens, you can do 1 action. So red tokens give us slightly more actions. So we have to draw tokens to start. I should also say, we should really start here at the ready phase, and it says invigorate all abilities. Well, we can't do that, and I'll explain invigorating when we get back to it next round. And it says roll all scheme die. So all the enemies have scheme die, but you only need to roll the gizmoblins because they're the only ones there. And these scheme die basically control what actions they're going to do. So I don't know if you can see that, but they have 2 sets of actions, and these ones have 2 sets. And this one only has 1, so we don't really need a dice for it, but I like to put them out. So they're the scheme dice, and then we fill the initiative bag, and then in the combat phase, we draw and resolve initiative. So it is the gizmoblins who go first. So their action is error, menacing taunt not found. So they're going to move 2 towards the foe and melee attack for 1 if they can, obviously, if they can get next to a foe. And they have 5 life. I'm using these dice which don't come with the game, they're my own, but they're just a good way of counting down. And basically you draw cards for each enemy that's coming out. So you put the numbered enemy out that corresponds to the card. So they will actually, I think probably what they do is they act in number order, so going up. So we will move number 2 spaces towards foe. Now they won't harm themselves, so they won't step on these. 1, 2. And they would melee attack, but they can't. It's melee attack 1 foe, and if they harm the foe, they push the target 1. But that gizmoblin can't do anything else. And then number 5 will go, and they can go through their own type. So that gizmoblin will move through. Again, it can't do a melee attack, so that is the end of the gizmoblin's turn. Probably because this is the first round, this particularly first bit will be reasonably easy. I can't really remember, it's been so long since I played it, but we've got a lot of actions to go. So it's Gog's turn next. What I should say is also there are lose and objective conditions to most of these sections, and the lose condition is the players lose if any hero is defeated. And the objective is defeat all gizmoblins in the gauntlet, and this room is the gauntlet. So once we do that, we will have completed the objective, and that's at the end of the round. And then we will move on. And we will reinforce, and then we'll read what that does then. So it's Gog's full turn. So he gets 2 actions and 1 shenanigan. So Gog has actions on his main card here. So he has a burst attack, which, as you can see, that's where he would be, and then he attacks 2 enemies in front of him. So that's rolling 1 red die plus 1 yellow die plus 1. He has an action where you can move forward, where you can pass through foes during the move, and a shenanigan to invigorate. He also has this action card, and this has a timed ability. So when we use this, we place 3 cooldown tokens on this. I'll explain how. And this is a ranged attack of 2, grab a figure, which is move it to next to us in any position, and melee attack 2, 1 foe. And that's called Gog Still Reach You, by the way. And this action as well, which is also costs 3, and I'll explain that again later. And it's a melee attack with 2 yellow dice on 1 foe. And if we harm them, we may push them 2, then we may move 2. And that's called Out of Gog Way. So you get the idea of what Gog is. So, first action. We can't do Gog Still Reach You. We're not close enough. Because we're not in range 2. So I think we will do his move action, which doesn't put any tokens on it because it has a 0 cost. All these ones have 0 cost. So we can move forward. So let's move 1, 2, 3 up to this number 5. And then for our other action, we will do our Out of Gog Way melee attack. So we get to roll 2 yellow die. Now let me explain the die. So the die always hits. They have hits on them. This is one of the other reasons that I really like this game. They always cause hits. They have the yellow die have 1, 2 hit, and then they have 1 hit, and some of them have these exclamation marks on them, and I will explain those when we roll them. And then there is one side that has this on it as well, and this means that we get to re-roll any die that we've rolled this on, and we keep that hit. So it's just a way of getting more hits. And yeah, that's a critical hit. That's what they're called. So we are attacking number 5, and we will roll 2 die. And we get 1, 2, 3. So we hit number 5 for 3. So they go down to 2. And then also harm. You may push the target to, then you may move to. So we can push 5 too, and we will, if you look behind here, we can push it onto this trap. And the trap will fire off. And we put that Gizmoblin in like that. And it will do 2 damage to number 5. So number 5 dies straight away. So that card goes away. They go away. And trap also goes away. That's fired off. And also we put 3 cooldown tokens on that attack. So we cannot use that now until all those tokens are gone. And I'll explain how they go. So we've done 2 actions, and then we have a shenanigan. And our shenanigan, which is this red action for 0 cooldown, is invigorate. And invigorate 1 means we get to take one of these tokens, these cooldown tokens, off anything that we have. So that is Gog's 2 actions and shenanigan. So we keep drawing. Yeah, we're going to finish these ones off pretty quickly. So Fiona comes out, and Fiona can do 1 action. So let me show you Fiona's actions on her card. So she can do a melee attack, rolling 2 yellow die at 1 foe, and splash 1, which splash 1 means any foe next to that enemy will take 1 damage. I'm just going to go back a minute because I rolled one of these exclamation marks, and what that means is we get to put an epic die in the epic pool. And I'll explain that when we get to it as well. Let me go on with her actions. So Fiona can also move 5, and she can, for just an action rather than a shenanigan, can invigorate 1. She also has 2 other actions. This one is, I don't wear all this armor just for defense, and I can do a melee attack of 2, harm 1. If I harm the enemy, I heal for 1, which is pretty good. And then she says she has an action, a fight, I'm in. And that is move 4 and then melee attack for 2 yellow die. So I think we can use this, a fight, I'm in. So that will cost 3. And then I can move 4. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4 next to that Gizmoblin. And I can attack with 2 yellow die. Now, the epic die on an attack, I can remove any number of epic die from the pool and add them to my attack roll. But if I roll exclamation marks while I'm using an epic die, it will not add epic dice to the pool. Also, the epic dice have a reaction. When an heroic figure is attacked, I can remove any number of dice from the epic pool, reduce the damage the attack deals to all targets by 2 for each die removed. So I can reduce attacks by spending epic die as well. So the epic die are really good. I really like them. Now this Gizmoblin has 5 life. So I think I'm going to use this epic die in this roll. So I'm rolling 3 dice. Okay, so this is 3, but I have rolled a critical dice on the epic dice. So I get to roll this dice again, keeping that hit point. And I rolled the 3, so I do 6 damage to that Gizmoblin. So it dies. Oops, so it goes away. And then actually I shouldn't have done that because I only had 1 move. So let's say we drew Fiona out. Oh, we did draw Fiona out. So now Fiona gets 2 actions and 1 shenanigan. Now, she can't do very much, but I tell you what, we'll move her 1, 2, 3. She can move up to 5 with the action, and then we will catch our breath, invigorate for 1. She has the invigorate ability as well, and that's the end of her turn because she doesn't have any shenanigans. And then Gog also has 1 action, and I think we will move Gog as well. Let's move Gog 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's all the tokens out of the bag. So we go to the objective phase. Check for objectives and win conditions. Well, we have defeated all Gizmoblins in the gauntlet. So we go to this part, reinforce. Hawthorne is not going to be a fan of the creative reorganisation of all his kegs and barrels of ale, but a far more pressing concern is the iron rods that the Gizmoblins are launching at you. Remove the door tokens from the blue spaces at the end of the gauntlet, then deploy the following to the Maze of Madness. So these doors go out. And you can see here, for 1 to 2 heroes, we put Gizmoblins on B, D, F, and G. So we basically shuffle these cards. And we will put 3 out, 4 out. And then we will organize them. And give them their health. They have 5 health each. And we'll put them out. So B, D, F, and G. B, D, F, and G. So F and G. And we also put 2 traps, 3 traps actually, on A, C, and E. A. Ugh, I need to get some more traps. C and E. So there we go. Can you see? I'll just put these to the side. So that is the reinforcement. And we also have, it says stop. Lose condition, players lose if any hero is defeated. Defeat all Gizmoblins in the Maze of Madness. Return to the game in 3 play rounds. If the objective phase and the objective has been achieved, read the Room of Doom. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So just checking. Yeah. Because this is the first scenario, it has references to like help you. But okay, so we go back to the ready phase and we invigorate all abilities. So we take 1 timer off each card. So each round timers will tick down. So we can't use these 2 this round, but we could invigorate and use them potentially as well. So we roll the scheme die. So it's still only Gizmoblin, and they're doing the same thing. And then we fill the initiative back. So we're filling it back up with the same tokens. So who will go first? And it's Fiona with her full turn. So she gets 2 actions. So with these, you can see these yellow spaces. They are difficult spaces, so it takes 1 extra to move through them, 1 extra move. But everyone can move through them. Purple spaces you cannot move through. So this is called the Maze of Madness for a reason, because there is a way through to these doors, but we have to go through traps. So it might be easier to climb over the barrels, basically. Yeah, so I, as Fiona, only have melee attack, so I need to get close to targets. So you need to get next to targets to attack them. So I think I'm going to get towards this number 4 Gizmoblin. I'm going to move on my move ability. I can move 5, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. So my head's in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my first action. And then I will... I can't use a fight. I'm all in, which is fine. I will use my 0 action, which is attack 2, 1 foe. So let's attack with 2 yellow die. It does have a splash ability, but there are no enemies next to it. So we get 2 hits and 2 exclamation marks. Now I should say, if I had 1 epic die in the pool, because I got 2 question marks, that's more than the dice I have in the pool. I would put another epic die in the pool. But because I've rolled 2 now, I just get to put 1. So you always can only put 1 in. But you have to have more exclamation points than dice, basically. So I've done 2 damage to number 4. And that is 2 actions. I do not have any shenanigans that I can use. So that's the end of my turn. And now it is the Gizmoblins to go. So, in order from number 5 down, they will do their error, menacing, taunt, not found. So they move 2 and melee attack 1. So basically, this Gizmoblin number 5 is going to move to the closest enemy. And that includes going over difficult spaces, but not through traps. So basically, it will just move 1, 2. Because it has to go that way anyway. And number 4 does not have to move. So it is just going to attack Fiona for 1. And I think Fiona will just take that damage for now. So Fiona starts at 9 health. So I will go down to 8. I could stop that damage, but I'm gonna leave it for now because I do have an action which heals myself. So that's number 4. Then number 3 is going to move 2. And Fiona is the closest, but it can only move 1, 2. And it can't do anything else. Oh, actually, this number 4, it has harm, push the target 1. So it's going to push it 1, push me 1, I should say. And then number 2 is going to move 2, and they can just move here. So in towards Fiona. And that's the end of the Gizmoblin's turns. And then next, it's Fiona has 1. And unfortunately, I can't do a melee ability. So I think I will just move back in. And I think I'll move back here because I could potentially attack this one and do splash damage to that one. So I think I'll just do 1 move. That's Fiona's turn. So now Gog's going to come into play. Gog does 1 move. So God can move 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I'm going to move Gog 1, 2, 3, 4 for one action. And then I'm going to do Gog still reach you. 1, 2, 3. And that's range 2, grab a figure. Well, this figure is within range 2. And I can move it onto the trap, which fires off. So number 2 gets 2 damage. And the trap goes away. And then, now this is my one action, so I shouldn't have done that. So I will take that back. Apologies. So number 2 is back up to 5. But I am going to do this anyway because Gog is the only one left. So I will do that. Knock it down to 5. From 5 to 3 as it's drawn in onto the trap. And then I can attack it for 2. It has 3 life. I'm tempted to use the epic die. If I use the epic die, I'll kill it. Let's risk it and not. So I've got 2 damage and 1 what do they call them? Yeah, one of those exclamation points. So I don't put an epic die in here because there's already 1 in there. So I just do 2 damage to number 2. So they're down to 1. And actually I can use my burst attack. So I roll 1 die, which does 1 plus the die's damage. So I'll do that to number 2. And it kills it. So number 2 Gizmoblin dies. And then I have Invigorate. So I will Invigorate out of Gog's way. No, that's going to go. I'll Invigorate that one. So that is the end of Gog's turn. So at the end of the combat phase, we check for objectives. Well, we haven't killed all the Gizmoblins, so we definitely haven't won. So we go back to the ready phase and invigorate abilities. So 1 timer comes off each card. Then we roll the scheme die, so the Gizmoblins roll again. Oh, and they're doing their other attack this time, which is move 2 to a foe, then range 4, attack 1 foe. If you're harmed, put a 2 trap in the unoccupied space nearest to the target. Right, so they're going to lay more traps. So we fill the initiative bag again. And we take out initiative tokens. And it's Fiona to go. So Fiona is going to attack number 4 Gizmoblin with her ability, I don't wear all this armor just for defense. So I put 3 tokens on Fiona, and it's a melee attack with 2 yellow dice. Number 4 has 3 health. So I think I will finish off this Gizmoblin this time and use the epic die. And yes, I get 4 hits. So Gizmoblin 4 goes out. And And if I harm, I heal myself 1, so I go back up to 9. And then I will I'll use my other fight I'm in, move 4. So I'll just go 1, 2, and I do a melee attack of 2 yellow die. So I hit for 3 and put an epic die in the pool. So number 3 gets hit for 3, so they're down to 2. I don't have any shenanigans, so we draw the next initiative token, and it's Fiona again. Oh, sorry, I should have put 3 on there. So I have 1 action I can take. I think actually I will remove 1 in token from a fight I'm in for that action. And then it's the Gizmoblin's turn. So number 5 is going to move 2. Well, he can only just move there. 1, 2, because it's a difficult space. Range 4. Attack 1. 1 foe. Well, Fiona is closest, so they're going to attack Fiona for 1. Now, if it does harm, it puts a 2 trap in the occupied space nearest to the target. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 of my shields to stop that attack. So there was no harm done. I didn't take any hits. So that harm effect doesn't happen. So now it's on to number 3 Gizmoblin, and they do not need to move. They're going to attack and hit Fiona for 1. And I think I will spend my epic die to stop that damage. So the harm effect doesn't happen this time either. And that's the end of the Gizmoblin's turns. So it's Gog for 1 action. And I think Gog will just move in here 1, 2. Because Gog can now do his 2 actions and a shenanigan. So I'm going to do the shenanigan first and invigorate. And then I have 2 attacks. So I will do my out of Gog way attack. And I'll do that on number 5. So I roll 2 yellow die. So I get 1, 2, and then a re-roll for this critical die. 3. So I do 3 damage to number 5. So they're down to 2. And I've rolled one of those symbols, so I get an epic die. And harm, I harm them, so I may push to the target, then you may move to. So I'm going to push this target into that trap, which kills them. And then I may move to. Sure, I'll move around here. 1, 2. And then I have another action. So I will use my Gog Still Reach You on this last Gizmoblin, and I'll bring it around here to me, move it to, grab it rather, and use 2 yellow die. Now it only has 2 lives, so I'm going to be able to kill it. Yeah, I do 3 damage. So the Gizmoblin dies. And I also have a shenanigan, so I will take 1 off Gog Still Reach You. And that is everything out of the bag. So we are in the objective phase. Check for objectives. Yes, we have defeated all goblins in the Maze of Madness. And it says reinforce. Okay, well, that hulking monstrosity actually looks pretty impressive. In the far corner of the room, you spy a narco-mechanical object buzzing away and throwing off arcs of electricity. Looks like you've finally found the off switch. Remove the door tokens from the lavender spaces at the end of the Maze of Madness. Then deploy the following to the Room of Doom. So we have in spaces A and F Gizmoblins. So let's just select these cards. I think I did it slightly wrong in the fact that doesn't really matter, but I think what we're supposed to do is select cards. So number 2 goes in position A in this room, and then number 5 goes in position F. There's F. And then we put Robe Ogre in position D. So Robe Ogre is this chappy, and then they go in D. So I'll just show you Robe Ogre. There you go. Yep. And then the Sparking Engine goes in E. And yes, there's the Sparking Engine. Goes in E. And then we put traps in B and C. There's C, and behind the Robe Ogre, there. And then we read the lose and win conditions. So, the players lose if any hero is defeated. The players win if either the Sparking Engine has been defeated or if the Robe Ogre and all the Gizmoblins have been defeated. So the Robe Ogre and the Gizmoblin have 15 health. And so let's put that out for those 2. They have 5. They have 5. Robe Ogre has 15 health. And the Sparking Engine also has 15 health. And the Sparking Engine heals. So it heals to the nearest damaged friend. And it has range infinite attack for one foe. So it will attack us when it comes out. The Robe Ogre has 2 different attacks, which I will go through when they're selected. So we have checked for objectives. So we now go to the ready phase and we invigorate. all our abilities. So we used all of them, so we haven't got any available straight away. Then we're rolling scheme die, so all the scheme die get rolled this time. We don't actually need one for Sparking Engine because it does the same thing every time. And then we fill the initiative bag. So now the red and yellow initiative tokens go in because the Robo Ogre and Sparking Engine are the red and yellow enemies. So they all go in the bag. And we will take our first token out. And it is the Sparking Engine, which is kind of good because first it heals 2, the nearest damaged friend, and then, which there's nothing to heal, and then range, infinite, attack 1 foe. So it's going to attack Gog. And I think we will let it do 1 damage to Gog. So he's down to 9 health. Oh, I should also say, I might talk about this at the end because we might not get that, but these cards, once we run out of life, they actually flip over to a damage side, so our abilities are a little bit less helpful. But we're not dead when we run out of energy. I'll show you at the end, maybe. So that is Sparking Engine. And then it's Fiona for 1 turn. So I actually think I'm just going to invigorate so that I can use this ability next time. And it's the Gizmoblin. So number 5 Gizmoblin, move 2 towards a foe. So it's going to move 1, 2. And it's a melee attack, so it cannot do an attack. And number 2 is going to move towards us as well. It's going to move 1, 2. Can you see that? Yeah, it can only move 1 and it can't attack. And it's the Robo Ogre to go. Okay, so Robo Ogre is going to move 3 towards a foe. So 1, 2, 3. And it also is doing a melee attack, so cannot attack. That's pretty good for us. And then it's Fiona's go. So let's do a fight I'm in action. And we will move 4. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll buy this Gizmoblin. And we will attack it. And I think we'll use this epic die to attack, because we might be able to wipe it out. And we do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, but we have rolled a critical hit, so 5. So we did 5, so we kill that Gizmoblin. Obviously, as I say, this is the first. This is a tutorial, really. So we have killed that Gizmoblin. And then we have 1 action left. And we can't really do anything, so I think I will invigorate that one I just used. And that's the end of our turn. And then it's Gog's full turn. So I can move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to use my 0 burst action. So it's 1 dice plus 1 hit. Oh, jumped out. But it's, so I hit the Rogue Ogre for 2. So they go down to 13 health. And then I have an invigorate that I can use. So I will do out of Gogweg. Yeah, I've forgotten if I've done all my... Yeah, I moved and attacked and shenanigan. There are actually, which I'm naughty and I don't use, there are... Oh, I can't find them. There are little counters that have action and invigorate that you can use to sort of mark when you've actually done something, rather than forgetting like me. Anyway, so that's the end of Gog's turn. And then Gog has one more action. So I think I will just attack Rogue Ogre again. And I do 2 damage to Rogue Ogre, 1 plus 1. So they go down to 11. And that's it. So the objective, we've got to kill these 2 or destroy the sparking engine. We've done neither. So we go to the ready phase and invigorate our abilities. And then we roll the scheme die. Doing the same thing, and then we fill the initiative bag. So, first token out is the Rogue Ogre. So, Rogue Ogre was moving 3 and then melee attacking 4/3, 1 foe. So yeah, it's going to attack Gog for 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. So Gog's down to 6. And then push the target 2. So it's going to push Gog away from it down here. 1, 2. And yeah, gave him a good thwacking there. And then it's Gog's turn. So Gog is going to well, I think I've got to go. I mean, I could go towards the... Do you know what? I'm going to go over here. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to attack the sparking engine. And... I'm going to use my out of Gog way. So I roll 2 yellow die. Whoops. And I roll 1, 2, and a critical hit. 3. And I'm going to spend this token that I've had from the beginning because of my bar stool. And that is a damage boost. So I can discard this to get 1 extra hit. So I hit the sparking engine for 4. So it goes down to 11. And now, because I've harmed it, I may push it, but I'm not going to. And then I may move to... sure, I'll move 1, 2 here. That's my 2 actions. Oh, and I have to do this. But I will also use my shenanigan to invigorate that. That's the end of my turn. And then it's the lone Gizmoblin's turn now. So they are moving 2, and they can get 2 Gog. So they're going to melee attack for 1, so they do 1 damage to Gog. Yeah, so he's down to 5. And then we can push Gog, so I'll push him back this way. That's the end of their turn. And then it's Gog's turn. So Gog will... let's range to... We're going to attack that Gizmoblin because it came for us. So we're going to grab the Gizmoblin and put it within range of us. And then we will melee attack for 2. Yellow die. Whoops. So we do 1, 2. That's going to put an epic die in there. And we can got a critical hit. 3. So we do 3 damage to that Gizmoblin. So it's down to 2. That was our 1 action. Oh, and we have to put 3 on there. And then Fiona has 1 action. So I think I'm going to invigorate so that I can do this because I know it's me. Oh, or it could be the sparking engine. Yes, it is the sparking engine. So it's going to heal to the nearest friend. So that is going to be the Gizmoblin goes back up to 4. And range infinite, attack 1 foe. So it's going to attack Gog for 1. I could stop that damage with that epic pool dice, but I think it's fine. And if I get hurt, if I go to 0, then I wouldn't mind showing that if that happens. So that is the sparking engines go. So I know that it is Fiona, her full turn. So Fiona is going to use Fight I'm In. She's going to move 4. Now the question is, who shall I attack? I'm going to attack this Gizmoblin. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use my 2 yellow die and the epic die to attack the Gizmoblin who has 4 life. Yes, and I get 4. So the Gizmoblin dies. And I still have an action to take. So I will melee attack the Roboger for 2 die. And I get 2 hits and I get an epic die. So they go down to 9. My head getting in the way. It's probably in the way a lot more than I realise. And that's my 2 actions. And it's all the dice have gone. So we haven't completed the objectives yet. So we invigorate all our abilities. We roll the scheme die. The blue Gizmoblins are out of it now. So that's that. Roboger's doing the same. And we fill the initiative back, but now we take out, obviously we take out the blue token, because they are done. And we draw and resolve. So now we want to really hit maybe the Rogue Ogre. Yellow. Oh. So the Sparking Engine heals 2. So Rogue Ogre goes back to 11. So maybe Sparking Engine will get it, because they can't heal themselves. And they attack the closest for 1. So God goes down to 3. And Fiona has 1 turn. So I'm just going to move. I'm going to move 1, 2 to the Sparking Engine. Gog has all his turns, so he's going to use his shenanigan to get out of Gog way and then use it for his first action. So he's going to attack with the epic die, the Sparking Engine. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4 with a critical hit. 5. So we've done 5 damage. So Sparking Engine is down to 6. And he does have another action. So he's going to use his Gog Smash Burst, which is just 1 die to attack the Sparking Engine. So that's 2. So Sparking Engine is down to 4. And he has a shenanigan. So let's do that. And next, it's Gog again with 1 action. So Gog will do that attack again on the Sparking Engine. And he gets 1 + 1, so that's 2. And he gets an epic die. And then Fiona's turn. I think Fiona's done it. So Fiona will attack with her I don't wear this armor just for defense. 1, 2, 3. And I get to attack with 2 yellow die. And let's use the epic die. Why not? So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. So the Sparking Engine is dead. Boom. But we have to complete the round. So Rogue Ogre is going to move 3. So 1, 2, 3. And they will attack for 3. And we get to decide this. So what I'm going to do, just for the sake of showing you, is they're going to hit Gog for 3. So Gog goes down to 0. And because of that, this card will flip over. And now, as you can see, he is wounded. And you become wounded. You gain 2 of the damage boosts. So he gets 2 damage boosts. 2 of those. To use now, so he can do extra damage a couple of times. He can spend as many of these as he wants. But then his attacks are slightly different. So he has an action, a melee attack of 2. So he's kind of more angry. He's doing more damage with that as well. Gog Crush. And then his other action is you go away. You may push to an adjacent foe and move 3. And also, as you can see, he has 12 health. So that happens, but have I got another one of those out? No, he's got 2 of those. So that happens. But that is the we check the objective and we have destroyed the sparking engine. So we would read the epilogue then. So go through all this and we get rewards. So we get reward cards from the vault, which are new cards for the heroes to use. So we get to interchange, pick cards that we want for scenario 2. So there we go. That is scenario 1 of Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. And although it's pretty easy, obviously it's the first scenario, it's like a tutorial. It shows you the basic mechanics of these timed actions. And there are lots of other things that come into it, like picking sort of abilities that you can have, tokens you can have at the start, and lots of other monsters, lots of other mechanics. Yeah, I really like it. It's what I like most about it is that these dice always do damage, so you always feel like you're making progress. You're always hitting the enemy, and sometimes in those, like Gloomhaven, for example, you can set up a really good attack and it doesn't work out, and you're just like, huh. And with this, you're always kind of doing damage. I really love the epic die as well. I think they're really clever. They're really good. And as you get bigger, more hits as well with more dice, you can get more epic dice. I generally use them to attack the epic dice rather than defending myself. But yeah, there we go. That's Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. So I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know how long this went on for, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I enjoyed playing through this first scenario again. And I'll see you in the next video, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye.